guys, welcome to Meghan Grace DIY. Today's video, I'm going to take you through how I do measurements of actors when I'm preparing for a show. I'm going to take you through both the men's in this video and the women's in a different video. So all you need to get started is a soft measuring tape. You want whoever you're measuring, whether it be yourself or your actors, to be in semi-fitted clothing, and I've included in the description section a spreadsheet that you can keep all of the measurements logged into. Now, it's going to seem like I am taking you through quite a large amount of measurements, and whether you think this might be too many for what you're measuring for, whether you're just measuring for a tux to be fitted or you're actually making custom clothing, I always say it's better to have more measurements than less measurements, because once your cast breaks up into the rehearsal process, it can be rather difficult to call them all back if you forgot one or two measurements. So better to safe than sorry, take more than you need. So to help me out with today's video, I very luckily have a male model to assist me, and let's welcome Martin so I can demonstrate some measurements for you guys. So whenever I start with a model, I ask them their name and their character. Those are the first two things I put in the spreadsheet. And how tall are you?
6 feet.
Okay, and what size shoes do you wear?
10 and a half, 11, depending.
Okay, so don't be surprised. I hate to say no harsh things on guys. A lot of them don't know what size shoes they wear. So if they don't know, that's fine. I just say take your shoe off and check, especially if you're doing like a high school cast or something like that. So we're going to start with some relatively normal measurements. We are going to start with the head. Now, I'll point this out because especially with the quarantine, a lot of guys have grown their hair out. Let me turn it to the side real quick. You don't want to measure over the ponytail because you want to make sure you're getting the brim of the head. Turn straight. Okay. We're measuring. Whenever we measure, we don't want to pull. We want to just be a gentle fitness, if you will. His is 23 inches, which is very average for the standard head shape. I only say that because any show I do, people always come to me and they're like, I have a really big head. And 90% of the time, it's not. It's average sized. If you're over like 24 and a half, you're going to have trouble finding half for that size head, just an FYI. All right, we're going to do the neck next. Now, for the neck, you are going to leave just a little bit of extra because we don't want the neck measurement to be like choking the guy. And the neck measurement is going to be how you determine what size dress shirts you buy for someone. So his is 16 inches. The second part of a men's dress shirt is the sleeve measurement. So when you're measuring a man's sleeve, you don't want to go just from the shoulder down to the wrist. That's not going to give you the correct measurement. You're going to ask your gentleman to lift their arm and gently bend at the wrist. And you are going to measure from the center of the back of their neck. We're going to come all the way down around that elbow and to the end of the wrist. So his measurement's 33. His dress shirt size would be 16 by 33, which is very standard men's dress shirt. Next, we're going to measure the chest. So we're going to ask to stand just like this. Like that. Good. Okay. We're going to come around the fullest part of the chest, and then you're going to ask him just to take a breath in. Good. So we want to make sure we're crossing that fullest part, not above or below, and we also want to make sure that our tape measure stays nice and straight. Good. All right, arms out one more time. We're going to do the waist next. Now, this is an area that can get a little bit tricky when it comes to men's measurements once again. So I always take a natural waist measurement, which is going to be the smallest part of the waist, or basically where, if you bend to the side, it's where you squish. So
It's not that.
we're going to take that measurement, okay? But a lot of men wear their pants lower. Modern pants are made to sit lower. So we're also going to take a low waist measurement. So that's about where a men's pant would fit. And then we're also going to take a hip measurement, which is going to be across the fullest part of the butt. Also, too, measuring people can take a bit of tact, and you're going to be touching a lot of people. So one of the things I do want to recommend in this area is I tend to finish my measurement on the hip. So that way we're not landing our hands in any inappropriate body parts. Okay. And then lastly, when it comes to measuring in this area, I always ask what size pants they buy themselves at the store, just because I have measured people and what they buy is a lot smaller than what the measurement comes out, especially if they're kind of comfortable in a certain size. So I'll ask and I'll put it on the measurement sheet for the costume rental place, just as a double check, if you will. Next measurement we need is inseam, and that's the second measurement for men's pants. Now, again, when we're talking about our little bit, sometimes you can be a little uncomfortable touching people, especially if you're a newer costume designer. Most people don't want to necessarily put the measuring tape right where you would need to put it to properly measure a man's inseam. So one of the tricks that I use is, instead of measuring from the inside down to the floor, I measure actually from the wrist bone. And the wrist bone is actually right in line where you would start the measuring tape for the inseam. Okay, 34. Now we're going to go into a couple less common measurements, but like I said in the intro, the more measurements you can do, the better, and trying to call somebody back for a measurement just ends up taking a lot of time, and it can be a real royal pain in the butt. So next we're going to do waist to knee. Again, we're going to find that natural waist, and we're going to find his knee, so it's right there. Let me take a step back. And then I'm going to be turned around. Okay. We're going to do nape to knee. Nape is the small of the neck. Okay. Back of the knee right here. Nape to the floor is exactly what you would think it would be, which is nape all the way down to the floor. And then nape to small of back. Small of the back is right here. So we're going nape to the small of the back. Wait. Okay, just say that. That's great. Now we're gonna do the shoulders, which is essentially between, if someone's wearing a t-shirt, this is perfect, gives you a guide point. I go right between the two seams for the armholes. And if you just put one leg out like that, okay? This is one of those measurements that, again, you probably don't need it. This is really only needed if you are making very tailored, specific custom garments, like if you're doing a Shakespearean show or something like that. But we're gonna do the thigh, come up to the fullest part of the thigh. And we also wanna definitely make sure they don't have like a cell phone in their pocket or anything like that, because that could increase the measurement. And then the calf, we are going to do the fullest part of the calf. And then the last question I like to ask, which most people don't know the answer to this question, but again, I ask it as a double check, is what size suit do you wear? So if they don't know, it's just the chest. It's the chest measurement. So it's your chest measurement, and then suits come in short, regular, or tall, depending on the height of the person. Martin here is 6 feet, so he fits very nicely into the regular size frame. So his chest measurement was 41. Suits come in even sizes, so you would put him in a 42 regular. That concludes today's video on taking body measurements. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. And don't forget, in the description section, I've got a free spreadsheet for you to download. If you'd like to learn more about my channel, feel free to follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, or Facebook. Or you can follow this little guy, my new friend, Bailey. He's got his own Instagram called Bailey the Baked Potato Frenchie. Are we yawning? Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to hit the subscribe and the notify button. And as always, happy sewing.